this meeting to order, and the citizens of Lynn, thank you very much. Appreciate this.
Hopefully it's quiet.
No, I won't. So call this meeting to order, 7 o'clock, and Pledge of Allegiance first, and then we'll begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, you have in your packets September 27th, 2022 regular meeting minutes, as well as September 30th, 2022 special meeting minutes. So if you would do those separately, approval or discussion.
I make the motion that we accept the September 27th, 2022 meeting minutes.
I second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve September 27th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries.
I make the motion to accept September 30th, 2022 special meeting minutes.
I second.
Moved and seconded to approve September 30th, 2022 special meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
Me.
First item, unfinished business is evacuation planning. Robert Q. I have, council, I have the peak sheet. I gave you some scenarios that you might have to jog some conversation with or whatever, so I'll hand it over to Robert.
And this is the way I look at it. What do you do when the fire's coming? You run the opposite way. And this is the town is surrounded by fire. I don't see the sense of it really. But what I would like to see and make a motion. Fire hoses outside fire hydrants. There used to be about 50 to 60 fire hydrants in that shop. So it's not going to cost the town a lot of money. Town crew can make the bottles, put them up there hydrants. That's going to put futures and service down as well as the town. And I've taken advice on that, and I think that's a good area to go with. Because firemen can't always get into town, can't always get in there, you know. If you've got a hose there, connect up, down the houses.
I get what you're saying, but there's to me a pretty obvious problem with that, and that's going to be people stealing them or vandalizing them is the problem I see with it, with especially the way a lot of things are in town right now. So that would be where I would have to disagree with you on that. I get your point, and it's a good idea, but I think it might not cost us money for the hoses that are there right now, but replacing them, it's going to be a never-ending battle.
Yeah,
It's
then
the way I see it.
when you think, Mike, they've been laying down the job for the last 10 years doing nothing. You know, I mean, to make a
All
box.
right, but I mean, that would be like us just leaving the fire hall open and saying it's a free-for-all. That's not going to work very well, is it? You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, but from my research on similar towns that have actually burned to the ground, there was in discussion that had they had these hoses, a lot of houses could have been saved. I mean, you say there's one out, most people now have got cameras anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd have cameras, our whole area was camera.
Okay, what if we maybe not leave them, like you say, at the fire hydrants, but if we have them, if the city crew has them available at the city shop, and it seems to me like there's usually always somebody on call or something nowadays, every weekend or something. So if we were to have that, we sure as hell know we don't want to ever have it happen, but if the whole town was surrounded by fire, you know, we could have somebody with a city and we could disperse them and.
Something where the residents can actually fight the fire, you know?
Right, but then that comes into who's gonna train them on how to work it. Not everybody knows how to operate a fire extinguisher or a fire hydrant and everything else. I'm just saying, it
I know
could
what
be
you
a
mean, yeah. Well,
tumble
well,
effect.
appointing somebody for certain areas of towns where the hydrants and the hoses are, so that they can be trained to open the valve, fit the hose, you know, so you go to that person and say, right, fire's moving into town, like the last one.
Right,
That
hopefully
fire-
the,
Yeah. Had that
somebody with the
shifted,
fire department will be available. I know we're out a lot, but hopefully, if we wanna go that route, maybe we could have designated people like you're saying or something that could be possibly trained, if that worst case scenario was to happen. But I, not trying to kibosh your idea, but just leaving the hoses and fire hydrants and stuff's not gonna be a good idea.
involved,
That's just gonna be,
you know, you got like.
a bad
box.
deal.
Well, you see them in hotels, I mean, they're in a arena or in a box,
right, but I mean,
and then, you know.
you know some of the people in this town right now, it's just gonna.
Mind you, I can tell you, mine's coming with the 27,
It's
so.
not gonna end up good,
But you know, I mean, like this fire, right? As plumber, had the wind changed, you guys were all over there fighting it. Nobody was available. They come up, evacuate. I could have been over there, uncapped that, hooked the hose up and saved at least 3 or 4 houses down the area,
Right.
you know.
And I'm not here to argue with you about that, I'm just pointing out some facts.
So you see, yeah, we're all going on the
Okay,
wind.
if I can interject something as well. The fire department is in charge of the fire hoses. They, are in the town, they are on call whenever anything occurs, even a fire like that. I believe our idea is to not fight the fire as citizens of this town. We need to leave that to the fire department because they are the most qualified and they practice fighting fires. We do not. Even some of us that have been in that situation before, this is a evacuation plan. I don't see where that is beneficial.
So what you're saying,
Evacuate.
Jim, basically, had that fire shifted, I was gonna leave my home to burn, lose all my possessions because I didn't have access to a hose. It don't make
Okay.
sense to me, it doesn't.
Robert,
You know?
the thing is,
I mean, I
What
was
is-
ready
what
to
is the
kick
most
the door in
important thing?
last time to go down there and get a hose because the fire was coming that close. You know,
okay, if the fire is coming that close, you should have evacuated along with the other residents.
not when you can fight fire, Jim. I've fought fires, I
Okay,
know.
well,
And I mean, mostly, the crew used to work the hydrants every month. We'd let water out, test they were working, make sure they were working, you know. Test the pressure. And I mean, not only that, that's gonna put people's insurance down. We keep having these fires that's going up.
I understand, but I
You know, you
don't
need to
stand by
make
the,
certain, maybe compare with other towns and see what their insurance cost was and how they evaluated the way it worked,
okay.
you know? Not just knock on the head, let's do some research about
Okay,
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I guess the bottom line is, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but if you wanna fight fire that bad, you want the fire department.
it. They won't have me up too long.
We have older people on there too, I'm not no spring chicken.
Can't be invited.
Okay, so I would really like to stress an evacuation route.
Yes. I honestly haven't had a chance to work on it personally.
If I'm new to town, I don't know the roads. I don't know how to get out of town, to get to, say, Brisbane or Connell or whatever. And it has been brought up by citizens from the past, previous, that if we have, say, a problem with the train, how can, if I'm a resident of South Side, how can I get away from danger? Because Is there a route that I don't know about because I'm not versed in the streets of the town? They did do away with the third, I call it the third exit, when they did the 395 split the highway. So there, the whole process that came from a citizen years ago that they were concerned about the, say, when McGregor was here, the chemical, which way do I go? And if I am new to town, I don't know. So that's where the maps came from. If I am in my house that is on 6th Street and I cannot go up through Cemetery Hill, what direction can I go to actually get to the highway if the highway is blocked off? That's what this whole exercise was hopefully to help the citizens. So.
Well, as to your answer to mine, I'm still working mine. I come up with some good routes, routes, they say,
Okay, we need to start writing those down. I know there's hands up. So here, the beginning of evacuation planning, the pink sheet, and it's just thought starters. If there is a chemical disaster or fire on the south side of town and both of the train crossings are blocked, citizens that live on the south side, where would I go? What's my possibilities? Citizens living on the north side, what's my possibilities? If there is another scenario, if there is chemical disaster fire and it's on the south side of town and I Street or Van Martyr, that crossing is blocked. If I'm a citizen on the south side, where would I go? Citizen living on the north side, where would I go to be safe? If it's on the south side of town and the Nielsen crossing is blocked, what direction can I go? Have a map. If there's a chemical disaster fire on the north side of town and it's fire and it's coming from the northwest over the hill through Cemetery, where do citizens go if they live on the south side? That way. Also, fire chemical spill that's coming from the west, moving through town, going to the east. These are just scenarios. Fire chemical spill has occurred on the east side of town and Highway 395 or 21, moving through to the west, safety-wise. How do I get to Ritzville or Spokane if the highway, all highways are closed? Do I know the back roads? I don't. If I'm brand new to town, I don't know back roads. How do I get to Connell, Tri-Cities if 395 and 21 is closed? So it was just a thought process and it came from years ago, about eight years ago, and kind of never got developed. So, Council, do you want to entertain comments from the audience?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Joe?
When you're doing that, a suggestion, talk to the school. They already have some routes
Yes.
that are in there, and that might be a good thing. And the question I have is, why does the city have the old hoses? I mean, you said you had a bunch of old fire hoses?
Yeah, down the shop, they've been there for years. We have used them on occasions to fill up the fire trucks.
Fire department gets new ones and then.
Oh, okay, so,
They gave them to the city, the old ones.
so
to the
obviously
city,
they're
or the town.
not the best to use anyway. Correct,
No, but they're all, they're all used. We've used them all.
okay.
Wash
I'm just
down,
curious.
parts down, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
I just thought that'd be an idea to keep insurance costs down. And save buildings, basically.
I can see the point of using the old fire hoses and having them hooked up to the hydrants. Maybe we can get the fire department to hold a community training for residents who would be interested in that. I know when we were evacuated, not everybody left. So those who chose to stay behind, maybe it's good for them to know and hook up those hoses to help defend the town if it came to it again. So still a good idea. The evacuation plan is important too, not just for adults, but for kids. So, you know, we can go to our kids who stay at home since we work, and if something happened to them while we were away, it's important for them to know how to get out of town or tell somebody who does. Another thing I was gonna suggest, if we could get maybe trenches dug around the town to help protect, just another layer. Does that, Mike, you would probably know, does that help? Digging, if you dug trenches, does it help?
I mean,
protect fire?
it can, but I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but the possibility or the likeliness of getting people to just go dig trenches all the way around this whole
Right.
town is probably not gonna happen.
It might take
We have a
time,
big ass cooler right over here for one.
it might take time, but if, you know, if we could contact,
I,
if we could ask the city if we could do that, if people felt so inclined to use our farm equipment to do so.
and I'm not
Just
saying it's
another
a
layer.
bad idea, Heather, at
Yeah.
all. Hopefully we don't have, there's always a chance of a fire, but hopefully we don't have another catastrophic one or even a worse one than that.
But preparedness
And
is.
I know it's possible, and look at the country we live in.
And farmers generally come to our aid anyway.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you know,
so-
they're more than happy to help us pulling discs or whatever, so,
Right, and
I
that's
think-
what's partially what stopped the fire this time, was the fire.
yes.
Who actually is authorized to issue evacuation orders for the town?
That would be the sheriff department, wouldn't it? That's who gave it the last time.
Yeah, that's who gave it to us.
Yeah, they're the ones that have to tell everybody to
Police
evacuate.
came last time to the door to say evacuate.
It's their call.
It's kind of like-
Fire chief,
Stop this fight.
Kathy.
Right.
So with the fire hydrant and hoses, are the hoses gonna be hooked up full time or just?
No, they'll be, you know, if you're in a hotel, you go in, you'll see them in a box.
A locked box.
So who turns the hydrant on?
Citizens. You know, just
Who's not
suppose,
the key for
okay,
that? Just anybody?
anybody
So anybody can just
near
go around and
that,
come on and eat?
anybody near that fire hydrant, okay? You go there,
Yes, it
open it,
is.
take the hose out, unreel it, hook it up, undo the valve on the top, which is pitch black. It's a special tool to open it. You undo the cap, put your hose on, hang on to it tight, that down. A lot of people would use sprinkler systems, they would soaking their lawns and the trees. It's not gonna do a lot of good, especially with dry grass and no water source anyway.
But you're also talking about liability too, if you just have anybody going, opening up a fire
I just
hydrant
see,
and somebody gets hurt or smacked with a hose, trust me, there's a lot of pressure.
But if we get a water or grass, if we face green in the city as well.
That will help too, yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yeah. I guess what I don't understand, why now? There's this evacuation plan. This is the second fire that's come to town. The graders keeps getting drugged in this. A few years ago, better than 10,000 gallons of anhydrous, just right out of town out here. White cloud across the highway. The graders stepped up. They had an evacuation plan, they came into town, they helped people out. But it all relates back to still 2 years ago.
This place,
Somebody
this is
in
a
this
fire
town-
hazard waiting to happen. We're gonna get more fires, there's no doubt.
Yes, but somebody in this town shut our water system down 3 days. No water, period. The tank was shut down, everything. That person was asked, what happens if there's a fire? Well, all the fire trucks are full. Okay, this whole damn town could have gone down that quick. Just because those fire trucks are full? What happens when they run out of water? Oh, we'll come up with a different plan. So my question is, why now is this evacuation plan? Yeah, my daughter and husband lost their property. But why now is this evacuation plan being in the process? When it should have been when the fire came into town on the other side. There was houses at stake. I had a busted back. I did what I could. The fire came down to Rick Donaldson's house. They could have taken it out. But did it? No. But why now is this evacuation plan?
Okay, my retort to that is why not?
It
Okay,
should have been
you always
years ago.
learn
It
from
should
your
have been done years
experiences.
ago, but there's no water keeping water or lawns. What happens if thousands of trucks come in here to try to save our town and there's no water? The town's gonna go, just like Walden did.
Rose? Like, how much water pressure goes through those hoses?
I can't tell you an exact number, but it's a lot. It's way up there. I'll find that number out for you, because I'm sure.
It'll knock you on your butt.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You could ride it like a horse.
Yeah, but it's a lot. It's enough to knock you down, just one person. I will get a number for you if that's what you're really after, is an exact number, but I can get it for you.
And if somebody runs over those hoses when they're being used, what happens?
Well, I've seen them split before, but most of the time they're made out of pretty tough material where they don't always.
Well, yeah, I know, but what happens to the person that's holding them?
I wouldn't be here.
You might get a little,
I'm saying.
Because I know when I was.
I went on the.
I know when I was a police officer, that was one of our main jobs, was to keep people from running over them.
right, yeah, it definitely gives you a jolt.
Okay, so we can continue with the conversation and the scenarios or the process. All right, good start. And yes, the schools have had evacuation plans a long time, so we can borrow their plans and see what they have. Okay. Item B, the wastewater treatment plant security system. Council, please, I don't know if you brought your other quotes or previous quotes, but what I did was I took the 3 quotes and put them all on one spreadsheet. It's sideways. Yeah, you've got one. Might flip.
I'll find it, go ahead.
Okay. The loan security is out of Tri-Cities. And remember, the grand total was $5,774.45. The contract is due to automatically renew in November. But right now, the system is non-functional the way it is with room security. Okay. Gigamatics is out of Ritzville. And it has a total of $3,995.27. Both of the first two have labor and setup included in the dollar amounts there. The Simply Safe is out of Boston. Of course, you know, we would have to set that up ourselves. The distance is only good for about 800 feet, the girl said. So that's why, if you'll see that there's another setup for well 9. And the grand total, my estimate, because the shipping and handling tax wasn't included in that, was $2,871.85. So,
Yeah, back it out. Sorry.
all right, so the estimates I put in one sheet. So, discuss. Got any questions? The blue sheet is the latest Simply Safe.
And I noticed on here, glancing through this earlier, and I still notice it now, I see that they're saying 30 days free, but that's 30 days.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's only good for 800 feet. Well, that does us absolutely no good for a well that's
Half a mile away.
way out there.
Well, but halfway would be another setup.
Right.
camera.
I just, okay. Yeah, I get that,
Even
but
with a second camera, it's still cheaper.
what's that?
Even with another camera, it's still cheaper.
But pay attention to your monitoring
That's
location.
what I'm looking at is the location and stuff. I get that it's a cheaper way to go, but I think we need to go with the one in the middle myself.
Do we have other quotes for this, or somewhere like Nephew or something like that? I mean,
Nobody else
I
responded.
can fly to Australia and look what's going on at Lighthouse, $40 a month.
Okay, we've got these three.
Do all of
This is
these,
what we've got.
do all of these have the 911 notification? Because I don't feel like we need that.
Simply Safe will notify whoever, like if Paula has it set up on her phone or whatever, it will notify, but it's not like the other two where they will automatically notify like 911 or
This is the original.
like that. Simply Safe is basically like a house monitoring system.
So if we
To
just,
put it,
Not with.
so I'm
and
thinking
like-
if we do the medics, but I don't feel like we need the 911. I mean, we could get there quicker ourselves and sheriff.
Well, okay, Robert was asking a question. The Moon Security is what we have now. And that camera system, they monitor. Okay? They can also call us and or the sheriff's department, whatever we want to specify.
But the only reason I asked that, when I worked there, it was alarms always going off. There was always cops down, windows open, that kind of thing, when the windows were not open. You know, that happened an awful lot.
Faulty.
Oh, yeah, faulty south. I mean, there's so many security systems out there with better monitoring that you could also add direct to the sheriff's office, like that. You know,
If you look at my suggested Gigamedics, Laura, on the last two lines, it says 24/7 surveillance with same-day response, notification if needed. So,
So if we didn't want that, we
Right.
would save ourselves almost $500.
but right now,
We gotta-
there's no cameras, they're outdated.
We need, yeah, we need to get on this, like, I think tonight.
Yes, please.
The camera that's monitoring well known, that's the one we had stolen.
There was no monitoring at all,
No, this is the same.
but this is to include well 9.
Yeah, we don't want another pump. Well, actually, what is that pump for? What is it for? Why is that?
It's a tank water.
Just out to the railway, what was your water?
The well 9
It's all on the same one.
is,
No, well 9 is not in the same aquifer as well 7.
It's separate,
Yes.
okay,
and that is the one we supply the railway with?
that's the closest, yes. Water source for them.
It does need to be monitored, I mean, that's an easy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We don't need another,
Another thing,
no,
that is hit up that thing.
one, I know,
Used to be,
yeah. There's a fence and everything, there's a fencing and all that's done now, correct?
Can I add something? The problem with Moon Security is they don't support the cameras that are out there anymore because they were made in China. And now they have a disclosure that they do not do business with anything made in China.
That's about right.
That's exactly what he told me.
Wow.
And now he wants to change all the cameras. There's 7 of them on the building. So if we were to stay with Moon Security, we have to change all the cameras to their newer setup, which,
And get rid of the Chinese crap, basically.
yes,
That sounds good.
which, why their estimate is so high.
Okay, this total of $5,774.45. That includes, removing the old cameras, installing all new ones.
Which Gigamatics, when he was out there, told me the cameras still work. It's just the DVR doesn't work. The head unit that records everything and tells the cameras to turn on, that's fried. It's gone.
But Gigamatics is gonna plan on putting brand new equipment, cameras.
right,
No, they're gonna
Work,
use the same
correct?
cameras. He said the cameras are fine, we just need a new DVR.
and that's that $1,000, see the top.
Just put
Yeah,
the
but
new
I don't like,
DVR.
I don't know if I like the sounds of that, if they're not gonna replace the cameras and stuff.
Well, if the cameras still work, there's no.
They're not very.
One's saying they do, one's saying they don't, that's the,
Well, that's because even if they do work, Moon Security cannot hook up to them anymore.
I get what you're
They
saying.
can't, because it's against their
Policy.
policy now and their contract. They cannot hook up to those cameras because they were made by a company from China.
And obviously, if we were to have Gigamatics come in and the cameras didn't work, then the problem's gonna be fixed before they just walk away.
Yes.
They're gonna, so, okay,
He said,
thank you for that information, though.
"You
Very helpful. Well, I make a motion then that we go with the Gigamatics.
What's it?
This one.
Okay, it's, moved and seconded to, go with Gigamatics for the, security system of the $3,995.27. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Next item is watering schedule. It is getting cooler. It is getting darker. To continue with the even and odd addresses, what does the council wish to do with the time schedules? The schools and the cemetery and the town parks are on their same, or on their own schedules, starting at 6. Correct, Steve? Okay. The schools is Monday and Friday. Cemetery is Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the parks are Wednesdays.
Leave it the way it is.
I think we should do, what did you say last week, 5 to 7 in
Well,
the evening?
right, and I know everybody's, and I'll just ask it for everybody, because I know somebody's gonna ask it anyway. Is there, and I know nobody can probably give us a direct answer, any idea of how much longer this, we're gonna need to have this restriction? I know we haven't had moisture in a while, I get it, but, I mean, as far as, you know, we are getting cooler weather starting to come in and everything else. I guess it depends on the functioning of the well up there. I'm looking at you because I know you're the one that works with it, so. If anything, I think we need to, at least if we're gonna have to stick with it for now, I think we need to at least, change the hours because, like you said, it's getting dark a lot earlier and I don't expect people to be out there flipping around with a flashlight or something, trying to water their yard or anything else, so we definitely need to change the hours at least. I mean, I know I leave for work at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's still dark when I start work at 6. And I don't think some people want to be out there trying to water their yard or whatever at that time in the morning, but.
Did we not,
Just a suggestion for me that I run the well. So if you want to change the hours, I recommend in the mornings, you go from 8 to 10, at evenings, 2 to 4, before it gets dark.
That's perfectly fine with me. I mean, it makes sense to me that way. Like you said, it's not doing it in the dark.
Most people are working
Hopefully,
during
well,
those hours. They're not home.
It's actually better to water in the morning, so you know that
right.
Yes,
it goes up during the day. Night time, you just get mushrooms and everything else.
but now it's cooler out, so just water in the morning when you can, and water in the
And I get what Denise was saying too about people working and stuff as far as the evening time. I'm trying to figure out how to word this without opening up a big old can.
personally.
To me, if you can't water from 2 to 4 or 4 to 6 or whatever, you're not watering the rest of the day.
I'm thinking,
The honor system,
Yeah, I mean, water a little later.
You know, what I'm thinking is that the citizens of the town watering your yards for 2 hours a day is not what affects our reservoir. It's the school, cemetery, the big parks. So
The big 3-inch water lines and stuff.
The big parks that have the 3-inch lines and everything, they water 8 to 10, 2 to 4. The rest of the town, you water whenever you want. It's not that big of a draw on us. It doesn't, no, it's when the big parks are on. And that's where the water goes. When the school and the cemetery running, that draws mainly out of Reservoir 2. The rest of it is Reservoir 3. And if we can get the schools and everyone to water The rest of you, I think you can water wherever you want, just keep it in a 2-hour timeout.
Keep the 2 hours, just
Yeah.
whatever works best for the
Whatever
people.
works best for you. And your little sprinkler system in your yard is not drawing so much water that it's gonna drain the reservoir. It's when the school's running, it's when the cemeteries are running, and these things are fed by 3-inch, 4-inch lines. That's when we gotta keep them on a schedule, so I can keep an eye on reservoir too. Because when they are on, all that water is coming out of reservoir two. It's not coming from reservoir two. It's coming from direct access from that reservoir.
Well, and there was a communication mistake, I guess. The school was running Wednesday as well. Well, Wednesday is our day for parks, so we had the school running as well as the parks running. And it went down fast.
And I had a low level alarm in reservoir two because the school was running when it shouldn't have been.
Steve, can I ask you a question about that? That's still giving you faulty readings, that computer. That will give you a low level, but if you go up and eyeball it, it's usually that far from the top.
No, it does not give you.
It's not, it's been fixed?
Yes. Yeah, the transducer works fine.
Cool. And then how about the braking system? Is that still off the well there?
Yeah, you can't have a 1,000-foot well on a braking system. It has to turn backwards.
I wonder why they took that off.
Because the well is so deep that if it just stops, that cavitates that shaft, and it's best to just let it spin backwards and slow down with the electronic braking system than it is to just stop it. And
That's what a braking system is for, though, to slow that down when that's on a backspin.
yeah, but the braking system that was on the ratchet system is just tink, 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 and a well that old, that's not good for it. That's why they took it off, is what I was
I
told.
remember when they took it off.
Yeah, they took it off because it's not good for that old shaft to be jerked.
And that was Joe that took that off, wasn't it?
Yes.
Thanks.
Heather's had her.
So at the last meeting, I had suggested 4 hours before sunset and 4 hours afterwards. Because what we're gonna start seeing is sunset and sunrise are gonna get shorter and shorter. So if we keep changing the times, we're just gonna have to keep repeating this situation, so.
Well, I don't speak for everybody in here, but I think I greatly appreciate Steve's input on this, and like, I think I go with that as far as if we're just watering yards and stuff like that, we're not using the water like he was saying, like the school does, or the cemetery, or the park. So if you want to water at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's gonna still kind of be the, you know, let's keep our 2 hour window, but you can basically water whenever you want, is I think what we're getting at, and I'm fine with that, but I don't speak for the rest of the council and everybody else in the town.
I think that's it. I think it's good.
I think that's fair, and I hope everybody else thinks it's at least fair for what the situation is at hand right now.
I just wanted to be clear on that because the discussion is a
Yeah.
little lost there.
And with the weather changing, we're gonna be blowing out sprinkler systems as well, so, Rose.
That's just what I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know that Spokane's weather is a lot different than ours, but they're gonna have frost this week up there, so you can bet in 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna start having frost.
Oh, yeah, it's coming, but
And according to my weather on my phone, the 24th is gonna be 32 degrees, or 34 degrees.
No, it's not.
39 degrees. It's right here on my phone, okay? Jeez.
anyways,
Okay,
So, yeah, it's getting cooler, and I don't even water my lawn anymore.
see you then.
Well, I wanted to just throw it out there. Why don't we talk to Steve about getting a project for hooking the schools up to well 6 so it's not affecting the drinking water? Both schools, you could go straight down the street, straight up. They could have their own little reservoir for their schools, and that would save our drinking water. And that seems like it might be cheaper than putting in a whole new well. And if they clean out the well with acid or whatever they're gonna do to make it flow better, that might solve all the problems. I'd like to get a price on that.
So you wanna run a water line separate from well 6 to the school into the cemetery?
I don't know about the cemetery, but the schools for sure, and possibly the cemetery. I mean, the football field isn't all that far. I don't know if you could go across this, the,
You're talking about
Solar
Denise
farm.
basically running one from well 6 and just tying it into the existing lines that are right.
You can't
Right.
do
Now,
that.
correct?
You can't do
why not?
that, because
Because
well
it's
6
drinking
is
water,
non-potable water.
But it wouldn't go, it would be for their yard, for the grass only.
That's gotta be a completely separate line. That's-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, you got
Yeah.
lines that are
it
there
can't
right
hook
now,
into their
right?
drinking water
Oh,
system.
that-
And that wouldn't be that hard to just hook into the irrigation system.
well, yeah, but you still.
I mean, you could do that for our park. Our park is right there too. You could do that for the city park.
To the high school.
Right, straight down the street and take a right. They'd have to have the reservoir. The reservoir might be even more expensive, I don't know. But I don't even know that we couldn't do that ourselves,
Probably.
you know.
It's,
I know there's more to it. It's not just simple. But the school, I mean, we could do that just for the city park too. It's very close,
That would
you
be
know.
easy. That would be
And
less expensive.
those are options. We should be using well 6 water on our outdoor yards as well. I mean, you can't do it for the whole town, but you could do it for this park. And I don't know that we even have to have Steve Nelson figure that out. I think,
It'd be worth looking into.
and that would save our
I
drinking
can't
water
remember all the
anyway.
stuff, I do have some.
Supposed to be taking notes, man.
I got all plans, did I have all that, take all points, doing all valves and that.
Okay,
So-
I'm sorry. As kind of a summation, currently, 2 hours a day, keeping the odd and even in place.
yes.
No. Why? People are using the water half as much as they did when we were having 100-degree days. We only water once every 14 days right now because of the cooler weather. When we were watering once every 7 days before.
Well, should,
So,
go ahead.
all right, Steve. If we were to, since you're the resident, you're new here, if we were to run 2 hours a day for the entire town, okay, you've got what, about another month before we hit freezing?
Yeah, like,
And,
last year I blew out the sprinkler systems in the parks on October 15th. So this year it's a little warmer. I'd say, yeah, let them water.
Well, and another thing is too, and I don't speak, but I know me, I don't water every day anyway.
No.
And I mean, some people might want to because, yeah, we can or whatever, more power to you, but I mean, realistically, I don't think everybody in town is gonna be trying to water every day at this point anyway.
And not for 2 hours.
Well, right, that's kind of, yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you really want to, hammer down, I guess.
The way I look at it right now is keep the school and the cemetery on their schedule. The rest of the town, let them water, and I will get to Paula if I see a problem with our reservoir, and then she can get to all you guys, and we will change it if we have to. I don't think we have to with everybody.
Right.
Just the little sprinkler systems, it's the big ones that are the problem.
They're starting to blow out sprinklers now,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point where we're gonna be at a certain point, once I know we're certain to be done with watering, I can shut well 7 off, and the town will run on well 8 by itself, and it won't be a problem. But until the schools and the cemetery are done watering, I have to run well 7 by hand, and I have to monitor the water coming out of it.
So I think we all came to an agreement pretty much,
Yeah, well,
or
yeah,
make a motion that
with that that information, I would say that at this point in time, and common sense is gonna dictate whether we, you know, when we cut it off, the watering, because if you start watering when it's freezing, guess what happens? I got a whole bunch of pipes in my house that had a problem after the fire because of that, you know.
All I know is I will be happy when I don't have to go outside every 30 minutes and go change my water system. I get up on commercials, I don't even change the sprinkler, move the sprinkler, I'll be totally okay with that, and I don't have to mow the yard.
Get you a tractor like I have, they work great,
Yeah.
until it tips over.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, one minute.
Yeah, sorry, I'll motion that we
Go ahead and do it.
move to, change the watering schedule to what we talked about, which would be pretty much, you can water whenever you want, as long as you keep it in the 2-hour window.
Time,
Or
2 hours time,
the 2-hour time.
so there is no clock to watch.
Right.
2 hours per house.
Yeah, whenever you want. You know what I mean.
Basically, just water when you're home. That's fine.
So, the motion is to change the watering schedule 2 hours per household. No matter what time.
Correct.
No matter what time, regardless of time.
Are we
Okay.
still on the odd and even?
No, it's whatever day.
No,
So
that's,
per day or just 2 hours
Hey, if you
per house?
want to water
Okay,
per
so
day,
what's
you
the
can go ahead.
The only one on the odd and even is the school and the cemetery.
Yeah, the school and the cemetery stay the same, make a note of that, Barbara.
And the park.
And the parks, but everybody else, you can, if you want to water 2 hours a day right now, go for it. Does that make sense for everybody?
Okay, so do we need to repeat? Motion's been made and seconded to change the watering, to change the watering schedule for 2 hours per household, regardless of time. The schools and the cemetery and the town parks have the same schedule.
Yes.
Is that the end of it?
yep.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Per day?
And any opposed? Okay.
We're good.
Okay, that goes. All right, that was hard. All right, council, new business, building permits. We have several of them, stack of them. There are 2 to replace shingles. There is a full installation of HVAC, a new deck, and a roofing of a garage. So you can look over the applications.
Sorry, Maya.
Somebody took a happy pill.
Trying to keep it the good mood thing going.
Yes, I hear that. Okay, let's do each one of these
Okay.
one at a time that we've made. Mr. Dutton's building permit. Let's start that one. Make a motion to approve the building permit.
Seconded.
Okay,
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the Dutton residents building permit. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
What was it for?
Mr.
What was that in
Bitten
air
is,
conditioner, furnace, and evaporator? Cool.
Oh, they already did it all.
The company's just now getting the information to us. Okay, next.
next is, Bernadine Reed. Tear existing deck and add the Trex decking.
Remodel,
Second,
remodel in the deck, take out and put brand new in.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
Oh. Bye.
Huh?
Bye.
See ya.
Good
Bye
luck.
bye.
Okay,
See ya.
so
Good
who
job.
motion?
Stay safe.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, motion's been made to approve Bernadine Reed's application permit for her project. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next on the agenda is Michael and Marianne Lazenby. Replace shingles on the shed.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to approve Lazenby's permit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next is Linda Ransom's tear off, replace backside of mobile home roof. Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve Branson's roofings. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries.
And last but not least, Myra Horton's application.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
Moved and seconded to approve Myra's roofing for her garage. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I think that's the end of it. All right. Next item for new business is letter from Heather B.
So, happy to see that the council meeting's gone a little bit more smoothly. That was refreshing. So at the previous council meeting, you, our mayor, Paula Bell, gave your answer to not resign from your post. However, we, the concerned citizens of this town, feel your answer was premature due to the fact you didn't fully understand why. And as a leader in your position, we would expect for you to at least listen to our concerns and validate them by either taking immediate action to correct or reflect on your actions that have left this town up in arms. With that, I would like to read to you the request of resignation letter that a fair majority of the town have agreed to and signed. Mayor Paula Bell, in light of your most recent history as mayor, the undersigned residents are notifying you that we do not agree and are not aligned with your methods, nor do we agree with the unprofessional and unethical manner in which you conduct town business. Through your deplorable abuse of power and poor judgment, we have brought division, created an atmosphere of belligerence, and have made a mockery of our town. You have overstepped your authority, you have hidden information from council, you've taken action without council approval, You violated council orders. You hired a convicted thief for the trusted position of the clerk/treasurer. You have lost the town's faith and trust due to your actions and non-transparency. Individuals are afraid to voice their opinions for fear of retaliation and punishment. You may feel that your methods are justified in order to get whatever outcome you would like, but leaders do not lead in this fashion. True leaders do not antagonize, nor do they malign the efforts of others, but instead find consensus in order to compromise and make progress for the good of the people. You have taken credit for the hard work of others and have criticized and belittled people who do not blindly align with you. We believe it is not in the best interest of the town of Lynn for you to continue to serve as mayor. We wish to restore representation of the people, once again with honor and integrity. In closing, in order for the town to begin to recover, the undersigned residents are demanding your resignation. We expect your resignation to be turned in to the pro tem mayor within 48 hours, or further actions will be taken. Sincerely, concerned residents of Lynn.
I appreciate your standing. The council does not have any legal authority
I
to remove me from office,
No, we don't.
okay? And this is out of order and all invalid. And as stated before, I will continue serving my term and fulfilling the mayor's duties as elected to do so. Moving on. Mayor's report, October 11th, 2022. Well 7. Just today, Dr. Lindsay emailed that he should be able to coordinate with the lab to schedule up for testing later this week. When that happens, the cemetery, the schools, and the parks are not to use any water for 72 continuous hours. That's under his directions, okay? So when we get notice of that, I will get notices out to the schools, the cemetery, and Stephen with the parks. Well 8 will supply the residents with their household usage during that time. And I want everybody to know that the town crew is monitoring all wells daily. And you've also heard that Stephen monitors well 7 when the schools and cemetery are doing their water. So hopefully this will all make good in another few days. I'll give you notice. I would like to turn the floor over to Barbara for budget information, council.
You guys have some paperwork that I gave you for budgets. The blue sheet is your budget comparison fund totals. 2020, 2021, and 2022 budget. Totals are on there, and then 2020 and 2021 totals for revenue and expenses are on the sheet, on the blue sheet, and then the pink sheet is your up-to-date budget. The 2022 expense and revenue position total as of 10/6/2022. So with those two reports, you can look at it and it'll help you understand what we're going for 23 for budget money stuff. Yes.
If you find an area that you think needs to be adjusted one way or the other, then that's what we need the feedback on that. So please use the blue for the comparison, previous years, and then the pink is the current, so use that.
Great. And I wanted to also mention that no one approached me about any interest in attending any conferences for 2023. Last chance for attending a conference in 2023. So.
I do a lot of mine online, it's the same thing, it doesn't cost anything. At the end, certificates.
Okay.
We need those copies.
So when you attend, when you get the workshops and stuff, there's usually a paper you can print off saying you attended that.
Yes,
So-
yeah, that once you've done the course, what they do, they download it, and then you're allowed to print it off, but not till you've actually finished the course.
Right, so if you could get me a copy when you do that and
Yeah.
the workshop, that would be awesome. And I also wanted to, for budget purposes, minimum wage is increasing as of January 1st, 2023 to $15.74, which is $1.25 more than 2022. At this time, there are 2 employees that work below this rate. So I'm giving you this information before the increase in wages in January so that I can get your input for the January increase in wages and the possibility of raises in the anniversary dates later in the year.
I have a question.
Yes.
You should always budget 2 people to go to the IACC conference because it's very important. At least 2 people should always be included in the budget for that.
Note taken.
Council, you have a double-sided, I believe it's white. Okay, but it's double-sided. And it says ordinance 2106 and ordinance 2105. One is the water and one is sewer.
Water is normally, the ordinance for a water rate increase is normally at a percentage of 1.73%. And the other side is the ordinance for sewer rates, and that is at 1.74%. On the ordinance 2106 side, which is your water rates, at the bottom it's penciled in what the rate would be increased at the 1.73 and 1.74 percentage for the total bill to include that. And we've penciled in, if you want to make it easy without the penny, it would be, a total bill would be a rate increase at $160.76 for those that have water, sewer, and garbage. If you want to make it easy without that penny, the changes are penciled in there for you to look at, just to give you an idea of what the rate increases would be.
Is that
based on
$3 rate increase?
Okay, we've got $65.11 is the water current. With, if you decide to follow through with the 1.73%, it bumps it to $66.24. You see that? Okay. The sewer, the other side, currently is $73.25. And that percentage is the 1.74%, which makes it $74.52. So you have, that's the base residential dollars increasing. Now, we have some time for you to think if you want to do a different ordinance. It has been in the past that the percentages were suspended for a year, and so there was no increase. But if you pay attention to our projects that are coming down the pipe here, our CAC recommends that you continue to increase. And I argued with them of, okay, we're going, if we keep increasing, we're going to have a humongous bill every month, and our citizens cannot handle that as it is.
It's expensive enough out of it.
And the garbage is $20. We cannot raise that or lower it because it's got to go through a hearing process. But you, council, you can take this and think, discuss to